Welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 225. Started out today's session with some knee isometrics to make my knees feel good before moving into the rest of the session, because if I didn't do them, then these jumps probably wouldn't have felt as good as they did, and the snatches probably wouldn't have felt as good as they did either. So the intention for today was to just do a weightlifting workout, but I always find that when I do a jump session or like a few jumps before my weightlifting movements, I always find that I'm able to be a little bit more snappy, a little bit more explosive. And obviously the reason for that is that when you do jumps, you're activating the high threshold motor units, and therefore you're potentiating the muscles of the lower body to produce not maximal force, but you're potentiating them to produce more force than if you just walked in and just started doing a snatch warm up like I'm doing here. So that is something, if I was going to coach someone to do weightlifting, I would highly recommend them to, before the workout, do some jumps. Any kind of jump, doesn't matter what type of jump you do, just something explosive before you move into doing the weightlifting movements. Yes, the weightlifting movements are explosive, but you're loading yourself with a bar, so you can't be as explosive as you could as if you're just doing body weight, which is why sprints and jumps are most important to do first thing in the workout. The exercise order is very important. You wouldn't do like a heavy back squat and then go and sprint afterwards. I mean, you could, but you wouldn't be getting the most out of that workout if you decided to do the exercises in that order. You always want to be doing the most high intensity, high speed, explosive movements first, and then move into the slower, higher force movements afterwards. That's one thing I learned on my strength and conditioning course, and that's one thing that is very, very important to consider when programming workouts. Always do the most complex, the most explosive, the highest threshold motor unit exercises first, and then move on to the sort of more general movement pattern exercises that you can load a little bit more force. So for that reason, jumping first, then I did the snatches. Today with the snatches, my intention was to work up to heavy singles, because I haven't done heavy singles in a while, and strength is a skill, and it's very important to do heavy singles with the weightlifting movements, because it's a completely different skill to do heavy triple with a snatch versus heavy single with a snatch. Learning how to produce maximal force in a very, very short space of time with good technique, with really, really good timing, is something that's very difficult to do, and you can only learn to do with practice. So these warm-up sets were feeling really, really good. I felt really snappy, felt nice and explosive. Then I got to 85 kilos. So what you're seeing here is 70. Did 70 for a double. That felt really nice, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to do singles from here on out. Generally, from one set to a snatch, I'll do 2 sets with every single weight. So here is 80 kilos for the single. That felt really good. So I did another single that also felt really good. A little bit shaky in the bottom, but that's fine. 85, first one I missed, and then the second one I just barely made it. I had to walk it out, so I was like, nope, I'm doing a third set with 85. Made that a lot more securely by jumping my feet outwards to the sides a lot more. Then I moved on to 90, made the same mistake of not jumping my feet out as much. So here is a set with 90, very, very nice. Jumped the feet out, I was very pleased with that. That is probably the first time I've gone up to 90 in about 9 months, back when I was doing that first cycle of weightlifting, so it's very good to get to that weight again, to touch the heavier weights. And then I decided on the second set, I had to work it out, so I'd make up for it by doing an extra overhead squat with it. Then back squats, these did not feel good at all. Did not feel like I wanted to go heavy on these today, because I haven't back squatted in a long time. I don't know what it is with back squats, but whenever I'm going all the way down, I find that my heels pop up and I basically feel really unstable in the bottom position, which is probably the reason why I'm not able to load them with as much weight as I have been in the past. So I was really focusing on trying to drive my heel into the ground, but no matter what I do, it doesn't matter how much I force my heel into the ground, as I get into that bottom position, the heels are popping up. It just happens for some reason. So I'm thinking potentially I need to get some different weightlifting shoes, and potentially I need to maybe alter my back squat form so that I can start to load it a lot heavier, because my leg strength is definitely a limiting factor for my weightlifting movements at the moment. I'm definitely able to hold heavier weights overhead, but I'm not able to produce the force to get those weights lifted with my legs as much as I want to be able to. I've got a decently strong back as well from all the pull-ups, and I've just got very, very strong lats from all of the deadlifting I've done in the past. I've got good leverages for deadlifting. It might not look like it, but I'm actually quite good at pulling exercises, but my leg strength is just not there at the moment. So that needs to be a priority in the program going forwards, which will obviously also transfer quite nicely into my vertical jump as well. So top set on the back squat was 120 for a set of 5, which I'm a little bit embarrassed to say because my max earlier on this year was 170. So I really need to start working on improving my back squat. And who knows, maybe as I work on my back squat a lot more, do it more frequently, my heels will start to stick on the floor a little bit more, but we'll have to see as that goes into the future. Then the last thing that I decided I was going to do was some snatch pulls to work on that snatch specific strength. Here is 110 kilos. I did 3 sets with some straps, and then I did 1 set without straps to see if my grip strength could manage it and hook grip could handle it, and I seemed to handle it just fine, which is quite nice. This is around the weight that I worked up to when I was towards the end of that weightlifting program, when I snatched that 100 kilos for the max. So it'll be interesting to see if I can push the snatch grip pulls for maybe some heavier weights and see how that impacts my snatch. Obviously it should. If you get stronger in a snatch grip deadlift or a snatch grip pull, then that's increasing your base level of force production in that snatch position. So that should in theory improve your snatch off the floor. And lastly, to make my lower back feel better from those back squats and my knees feel better from all that high volume weightlifting or high intensity weightlifting, I decided that I was going to do some reverse hyperextensions and then some pulsing heel elevated squats. All right, that is pretty much it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.